We have some breaking news. Former Browns tight end David Njoku is signing a one-year deal worth up to $8 million with the Los Angeles Chargers. So I have this video here. This is from NFL Live on ESPN with Mina Kimes. I know not everyone's a fan of her, but that's okay. We're just going to have a look at what she has to say. Now, before we get into this clip and some stats, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps grow the channel, and I appreciate you guys so much for that. Let's have a look at what Mina has to say, and then we'll talk about it.
I share Andrew's enthusiasm for Mike McDaniel's offense in LA, and I also am excited about the addition of the tight ends today in Njoku, because this was an offense that last year used 12, 13 personnel, 2 or 3 tight end sets at the lowest rate of any team in the entire NFL.
Which I think a lot of us had a problem with, especially with the O-line going down with so many injuries. It's like, yeah, let's bring in Matlock and Tucker Fisk more often to help with the blocking. Let's go into those heavy sets, 22, 32, 23. Not all the time. You want your receivers to play too, but like sometimes, and sometimes Roman would do this, but they need to go to those heavier sets more often. Sometimes you just got to bully the ball across the line, and the Chargers were not able to do that last year. And with this offensive line, with Njoku, with the fact that we have 3 really nice tight ends, with Alec Ingold, with a revamped offensive line, we got to start bullying teams at the line of scrimmage.
And 8% of the time, we're going to see a dramatic uptick in those numbers, I believe, because of the group that they've put together. Charlie Kolar, coming from Baltimore, is a very good blocker. Miranda Gadsden, you saw last year, can stretch the field. And Njoku can do a little bit of everything. So you can put him in line, but you can also use him as a receiving threat, too. And I really think this offense is going to look kind of closer to what we saw, same city, in Los Angeles with the Rams, when they started using more 13 personnel to take advantage of defenses having to put a linebacker on the field and then finding those mismatches and throwing on them. When you look at Mike McDaniel's history in Miami and going back to San Francisco, these are offenses that used heavier personnel groupings, and less 11 personnel in the rest of the league. And I think that's going to continue, and we're going to see some evolution in Los Angeles, which I'm pretty excited to see play out.
And, we are still going to see, the 12s, the 13s, the 11s, probably even some 10 a bunch of times too, because you do have Justin Herbert throwing the ball, right? So you're going to put him in shotgun with 5 receivers sometimes, or 4 receivers, but most of the time we should be entering those heavy sets because teams are going to have no idea what we're doing. If you're in, 13 personnel with those 3 tight ends, you could be running or throwing the ball. You're still going to have a receiver out there. Then you'll have Gadsden and Njoku, plus our running backs are passing threats as well. Lots of play action, lots of sneaks going across the field. And then, of course, they're still going to run the ball with Omarion Hampton, Keaton Mitchell. I'm very excited for the future of this offense. Now, a lot of people are telling me, well, this could be the move that really puts the Chargers on top, to be Super Bowl contenders. And, I got to push back a little bit on that. I think there's a lot of question marks, and I think that we're optimistic about the question marks. D-line, are they going to be improved? We all think so. Offensive line, are they going to be improved? We think so. Young receivers stepping up and getting career highs this year in stats? We think so. But we don't know any of this yet. And yes, I like the signing a lot, don't get me wrong, but I'm not ready to call this team a Super Bowl contender until we see them on the field. They're going to have a tough schedule this year. And in a few days, they're actually coming out with their schedule release. We will be covering that, of course. But I do want to, as excited as I am about this, I also want to temper expectations a little bit. Because I just don't want to get too excited. I'm being a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, if you guys like hockey, and a Chargers fan. It's been very painful, and there's been lots of seasons where there's been huge expectations, and they've fallen short. So let's see. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch. So let's get into some stats here. And again, David Njoku's stats are not going to jump off the page, right? 33 receptions, 293 yards, 4 touchdowns, 8.9 average. So a lot of people are like, why are people so excited? Well, as Mina Kimes said, he can do a little bit of everything. So it's another weapon. He's a very good blocker. He can go and catch passes. He's actually very talented. But the reason I wanted to bring up his numbers was because I also want to bring up the fact that he was on the worst offense in the NFL for the last, 5-6 years plus? So, of course, his stats aren't going to jump off the page. we have other threats now, right? He's surrounded by a team that's going to help surround him so that he's not the main focus of defenses. They're going to be worried about Omarion Hampton and Trey Harris and Q and Lat, Gadsden, etc. Now Njoku adds to that list, but Justin Herbert spreads around the ball. There will be times where Njoku is open and he'll be able to make some nice catches in the box, maybe a little bit out to the outside. He's a pretty good receiver. But again, his stats are not going to, jump off the page. His career stats, 384 receptions, 4,000 yards, 34 touchdowns, long as 71, but he can go deep sometimes. He's not he's not like the greatest tight end you've ever seen, but he's a very, very nice addition. And Chargers fans, we should be very excited for this upcoming season. We look like we're going to have a really good team, a really good offense, really good defense, real depth on special teams. I'm very excited. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back shortly with a new video.